Greetings, Michael here, Gilbert, Arizona, Street Corner Ministering Tour. And the most latest teaching is that behind me here, if you zoom in on it, you can see that I've been witnessing every day here on the street corners of Phoenix and Mesa and Gilbert, Arizona. Playing music. I have a guitar, probably go get it in a moment. But anyway, my latest understanding is I've been studying the biblical text for 13 years, morning, noon, and night. No drugs, no alcohol, and no women. I missed the women part, celibate upon all this, just trying to figure out why am I here. And learning the Hebrew morning, noon, and night since 2009. Believe me, the Aleph Tav Dam Sheh of Hashem Yeshua HaMashiach, the blood of the Lamb is the one who, he's my Redeemer, he's my salvation, he's my Yeshua. And so within all that, I wanted to get this teaching out that, I believe right now that in the church and almost most of the world itself, forget about the fallen angels. And I believe that most people at this very moment is influenced, almost all the church, almost most of the world, a high percentage of the world is influenced with these fallen angels. It's in 1st or 2nd Corinthians, don't quote me, but figure it out yourself, 6, I believe, that says, you will judge angels. So it don't mean we're going to judge the good angels, people. We're going to judge the fallen ones. That when I brought all the glory, every good and perfect gift from above, I brought it to the body of believers, so-called believers, and the leaders basically want nothing to do with you. Michael, you're reading the Bible, do what it says. You can't stay here. You're scaring people away. And then they'll make you feel about this tall or shorter by saying, don't you know, Michael, the devil knows the Bible. And finally come to my senses is that the Satan, the Nakash, the animal in us, the fallen angels, they don't do what the biblical text says. As Yeshua said, he quoted the Satan that flew him up, or asked him to turn the stones into bread, knew that verse in the biblical text, but he didn't do it. And Yeshua, clearly example of, he's the salvation, but the Satan, he didn't do nothing with him. So it's basically has a big influence upon the world of today. And people, as I proclaim this truth, it's time to let the word become your flesh, to quit listening to every influencer that are trying to get you to serve the money and give the money to them so they can wear fancy clothes and serve the kings and rulers of the world. I'm not coming against the monetary system, but the monetary system, the exodus out of Egypt, if you do the figures of the money that was gifted, it's like $13 trillion of today's money that Hashem, Yud-Vav-He, gave his people who believed in the blood of the Lamb, who were baptized into eternity. And now this is how I want you to act at Mount Sinai. I'm going to give you some rules and regulations, and I'm going to feed you manna from heaven, and your offspring is going to make it to the promised land. But your bitter hearts and your anger and all this rebellion has to go. You have to learn to, as Yeshua said, if you love me, keep my commandments. And stop being, many will come to me on that day and say, didn't we do this? Prophesy, raise the dead, heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, make the lame walk, make the deaf hear, make the blind see. And he'll say, very, very, I never knew you, you workers of iniquity. I'm telling you that the religious system as it is of today influenced heavily by the fallen angels. And just do your study of the self, the book of Enoch, Genesis. It's all true, it's everywhere. And so wake up, people. We're in the image of Elohim, and Elohim giving us all this world. It's time to start loving one another, not 38,000 denominations. That's another big example. 38,000 denominations right now in the world, yet we're all one blood and one flock. And most of them will say, oh, well, when his government comes, that's, and it's no. Render to Caesar what is Caesar's. Render to the flesh what is flesh. Render to Elohim what is Elohim. We're spiritual people. We were created to be with him, not out of the Garden of Eden. Yeshua, that narrow gateway, people. The narrow gate. Who's teaching the narrow gate? It's waiting for us. 3 years maybe of building treasure in heaven. Cleansing of the temple. Forget eating everything under the sun, moon, and the stars. You know, fruit of the tree and herbs from the ground. Maybe you can enter in. Maybe you can be vaporized, just like Enoch, just like Elijah, into the next dimension, or into the Garden of Eden. That's where we're going to go. With that, may Yahweh bless and may Yeshua fill your heart. Amen and amen.